Hey everyone, Shaedow here, and welcome to another Marvel Contest of Champions video. So we're going to be going through Act 5.3.2 in this video. But before I talk about 5.3.2, I want to correct some erroneous information that I gave in the last video. I thought that each path in the quest was made for a different class. So I thought that I would have to make multiple runs with perhaps a different optimized team each time I went through it. I'm happy to have learned that this is not the case, at least for these two quests. Alright, so the favorite class in this quest is Tech, and joy of joys, I just happen to have a 5-star Spider-Man Stark Enhanced at rank 4. I only have 2 rank 4 5-stars, and I do not use him for all of the fights in this quest, because I wanted to save him as much as possible. But as you can see, he puts in that work. Alright, so let me talk a little bit about the team that I chose for this quest. I chose Archangel, OG Vision, Starkey, Blade, and Raccoon. And I'll talk a little bit about why in a minute.
Headshot.
Alright, just wanted to let that fight get done. Starkey didn't have any trouble fighting Yellowjacket. In fact, I usually use Starkey in Alliance Quest when I have to take that path on the left and deal with that unblockable L1 Yellowjacket on map 5. Alright, so anyway, I chose Archangel because he's a beast. Even with the damage reduction, he still puts in some amazing work. So as long as they can bleed and can be poisoned, I may choose him like you see here. Juggernaut can be bled, he also can be poisoned, so I'm going to put those neurotoxins on him like you see there, and I'm going to put in that work. The fight will go a little bit longer than, of course, if I didn't have the damage reduction, but it's okay. He really puts in that work. Now, OG Vision, he cost me 4,000 units, and I've never regretted buying him. His power control is awesome, but his damage output is pretty low. I don't use him a lot these days, but this seemed like a good time to dust him off and remind folks of why they're scared to make him a 5-star. They're not going to do it. He is just too beastly. Being able to gain power without getting hit allows him to do some things that nobody else can do, except maybe Doctor Strange. Alright, and that's another fight down. Now the reasons that I chose Starkey should be pretty obvious. You know, he's a beast, and he's Tech, so why wouldn't I choose him? He's my highest champion currently. Blade, I actually chose Blade for the synergy with Starkey. Believe it or not. Now Blade is awesome, we all know that. He's the #1 sought after champion. But if it wasn't for that synergy, I would have brought someone else for this quest. And finally, we have Raccoon. He's fun to play, he's Tech, and he does some nasty damage. He hits really hard, and his L2 just devastates. And he's my only 6-star, so of course I had to bring him on this quest. Alright, so this quest is not too difficult. If you know how to fight these guys, you'll do just fine. Choosing the proper class helps, but if you have someone that does a lot of damage like Archangel, you can still use them. I didn't run into too much trouble on this one, but a few times I suffered from that same issue that I've mentioned before in my videos, where my input was dropped when I try to do an evade, and I eat a heavy. It seems to be that combination. I always eat that heavy, so I'm wondering if there's something with that, but of course I can't know that. But anyway, you'll see that happen at least twice later on, and I'll mention it when it happens. Alright, so as you see here, OG Vision taking him down. Now OG Vision, his damage, as you saw there, was not that great, but he put in that work. Alright, so here we have Archangel once again. And Daredevil, there's nothing special about fighting him. If you know how to fight him ordinarily, you're not going to have any problem with this fight. Honestly, I could have chosen any of my champions to fight this Daredevil, but I chose Archangel mainly because I actually have fun putting them poisons and neurotoxins on them, and I wanted to save my Starkey especially for the later fights. So sort of my strategy is to use my Archangel, or depending on who else I bring, I'd use them up as much as possible and save my strongest guys for later. And down goes OG Daredevil. Alright, so next up we have Colossus. And since he is bleed immune, and I don't know if you guys know how Archangel works, but in order for him to put a neurotoxin on, he has to be able to poison them and bleed them. And he can't poison them if he can't bleed them. It's a progressive thing. So if they're bleed immune, then Archangel is pretty much ineffectual. So I brought in Starkey for this fight because, of course, Starkey hits hard. And as you saw in the beginning, I built up the poise charges and then just went in. Fighting with Starkey is fun, and it's pretty simple. He does have a couple of tools in his toolkit.
Godlike.
He has that EMP web that he can drain their power. I believe it's every 30 seconds. I wish I had a timer on that. Sometimes I don't keep track. It does pop up when it's ready again. But I really would love to have a timer on that. Maybe there is one and I just haven't noticed it. Alright, so finally we come to Rocket Raccoon's first battle. And look at the damage that he's doing. I mean, Rocket Raccoon hits really hard. I haven't even gotten to his special, and Old Man Logan is almost dead. He's less than half down. So yeah, I'm very happy to have gotten him as a 6-star.
Look out!
Look at this. Ooh wee. See, that's just fun. Good, clean fun. Anyway, you'll see him again later on. So we're back again to Archangel. So like I said, I try to use up the champion, and so I will keep using Archangel when I can. I may change out just to add a little flavor like I did with Rocket Raccoon, because I could have used Archangel for that last fight as well. And the neurotoxin would have stopped all that regen and everything, but I was pretty confident that Rocket Raccoon could out damage any of that, and as you saw, he was able to do that just fine. Alright, so this fight, this Magneto, not a problem. I had a little scary moment towards the end of the fight. I pushed him to his L2, and I'm still not very confident in dodging this L2, so I'm really worried here. You see me going all the way back, and I'm not sure. I'm like, okay, I'm about to get wrecked perhaps. And so I was like, well, only thing to do it is to try. So I just kept backing up, trying to bait it out, because I wasn't going to push him to his L3. And I got it. And that's it for him.
Outstanding.
And down he goes. And Archangel, he has some pretty good block. As you can see, he was taking some blocked hits, but his health didn't go down a whole lot. I think his block proficiency is pretty good. Alright, so we're going again with Rocket Raccoon. He's got some good health. I think it was this fight that I had that problem. We're going to see in a minute, and I'll let you know. If you see me get, yeah, there we go, right there. I get hit with that heavy. That happens when it drops my input. And then I get really upset, and I play a little bit differently because now I can't trust the input. Alright, so I'm like, okay, let me just get that damage in, but I'm trying to evade a little bit earlier just in case that happens again. But it didn't happen again in this fight, and you know, I just took him down fairly easy. They have to make it a little bit difficult, I guess. That's the way they do a little challenge, you know, drop a random input now and then you think that it's you.
Headshot.
And down he goes. So Rocket Raccoon, still fun. Not so fun when it drops your input, but it is what it is. We got through the fight, no problem. Now, Archangel here, as you see, does not have a lot of health, but I had to bring him in for Winter Soldier. I farm Winter Soldier with Archangel. So anytime I see Winter Soldier, unless the boosts make him bleed immune and poison immune and all that good stuff, I'm going to want to fight with Archangel. You know, this is a very, very easy fight. I have lots of practice fighting him, you know, as I farm for potions in Realm of Legends against him. The only thing that I was worried about, again, was this here. I accidentally pushed him to his L2, and that's going to do a lot of damage even though I blocked it all. And I certainly wasn't going to try to dodge it, or else I would have definitely been toast. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I wonder if I'm going to be able to survive. But this is Archangel that we're talking about here. So, he's a beast.
Fatality.
And down goes Winter Soldier. Archangel's still standing. He don't have a whole lot of health left, but he's still standing. So I basically retired Archangel for a while. He has too little health. Now you may wonder, why don't I heal him up? This is just a little challenge that I make with myself. I could heal him up. I have a few heal potions, but I want to see if I can get through it using the least amount of resources. So I'll use him until I feel like I can't really use him viably anymore. You know, if he goes down, okay, that's fine. But I don't want to heal up and I don't want to revive unless I absolutely have to. So that's just a little challenge that I do for myself. Make it a little bit more fun, you know, because anybody can get through this with enough resources. Alright, so here we're fighting Deadpool X-Force. I almost said Dead Force X-Pool. And even if I push him to his L3, I should be able to survive it. But what's been happening during this fight, I don't know if you guys have noticed, is that I've been taking a lot of blocked hits. My parries did not seem to be working very well. I would get a few, but a lot of them failed, and so I took a lot more damage than I should have.
Finish him.
And we got through it barely. As you saw towards the end, you know, my parries just did not seem to be working, and I would just end up blocking. I don't know if the AI switched it up or what have you. Alright, so since Archangel is low and OG Vision is low, Rocket Raccoon was, I think, around half or so. Blade is at full health. I believe he was the only one that I had at full health. So I said, well, let me just bring him in. Not the optimal fight for him. You know, as you can see, he doesn't have his danger sense active. So what you're looking at here is Blade at his worst. Alright, this is a 4-star Blade. He's Sig 99, but he's got no danger sense whatsoever. Not quite at his worst, I guess, because I can bleed him. So, you know, worse would be a bleed immune without the danger sense and a non-villain, non-mystic. But this is pretty close. But while the fight went, you know, a little bit longer than I would have liked, I still got a chance to play around with Blade. And since I know that I can heal back up to 70%, he has some good sustainability. So he's going to save me resources just because I can go through these fights, heal up if I need to, unless I mess up really bad and lose him, of course. So he's valuable in that sense. But honestly, Again, if it had not been for the synergy that he had with Starkey, I would have chose someone else that was sustainable, like Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider probably would have done just as well, if not better, than Blade. Alright, so he didn't lose a whole lot of health, put in a lot of hits, but we got it done. Alright, so now I'm facing Groot. I didn't want to bring Blade in for this fight, didn't want to bring Rocket Raccoon in or anything like that, and Starkey has, you know, near full health, so I figured, okay, get those poise charges, which you saw me do, and I should be able to get this fight over quickly without taking a whole lot of damage. And just look at how hard Starkey hits. Now, I hate Groot in that his animations a lot. He suddenly will get very aggressive, and you'll see, like what happened earlier, I'll take a lot of blocked hits. And he does so much damage on those blocked hits, especially when he gets that I am Groot thing going on and he has all of his buffs up. That's the time that you really don't want to take any hits, not even blocked hits from him, if you can help it. But other than that particular time, we did pretty well, and Groot got chopped down fairly easily.
Flawless victory.
And down he goes. Sorry about that, Groot. Loved your movies, though. Alright, so now we've come to the final fight. Howard the Duck. I do not like Howard the Duck, and I make no bones about it. I don't like the way he sounds, I don't like his animations, I don't like to play him, and I don't like to fight against him. That Thunderquack is very annoying, and you'll see it during this fight here. Alright, so you see the buffs that we're dealing with. That True Strike can give a little bit of trouble for Starkey especially. So here's what I did for this fight. I went in with pretty much all of my champions other than Spider-Man Stark in hand. Now, you see that he starts with a level 2, you know, power 2. Now, watch what happens to Blade in this fight. Okay? So this is not a problem, right? Now that right there is a problem. Remember I told you I was having problems with my parries? That should have been a parry. It was not a parry. I ended up taking blocked hits, trapped in the corner. I was able to evade 2 of his attacks, but that third attack got me. Okay? So I was a little salty about that because I was expecting Blade to put in a little bit of work. Okay? Not a whole lot, but a little bit. That's the whole point of using him. Alright, so here we go. Rocket Raccoon survived that L2 from him, and he's going in. Now look at this. I'm able to evade. We should be, you know, pretty good. Look at that damage that he's doing. Now again, I'm not expecting him to beat Howard the Duck, but if he can, that's great. But my only purpose in bringing these guys in is to do as much damage as possible so that I have less damage that I have to do when I bring in Starkey. Now you saw how he got taken out? It was that Thunderquack. Thunderquack hit. I can't evade it. I can't dodge it. I can't block it. Okay, so it just basically took me out. By the time I went for a parry, I didn't have any health left. Okay, so yeah, I don't like unavoidable damage. So now I'm going in, and I already know what's going to happen here. Okay, so what I did here, since he didn't have a lot of health left, I couldn't risk taking that L2. So I basically took it to him and tried to do as much damage as possible. I went kamikaze on him. So Archangel did what I set out for him to do. And now he can rest. Now, here we got OG Vision. Now he was able to avoid that L2 by draining that power right off the bat. That's why he is so powerful. Somebody else would have had to wait to get their L2. Now watch this fight. Now look at this. Okay, he doesn't have a lot of health, and so of course I'm backing up, looking for my in. I got some more power. Boom! hit him again, right? So I'm going to dodge back, like you see right there. Now go in, boom, hit him. Now I'm to dodge back, right? Look at what happened. Did you see how he went forward? That's what happens when you don't do anything. I dodged back, but because it dropped my input, instead of evading back, it actually walked forward as if I had never touched it at all. So that was something that I noticed when I was watching it back, and I was like, okay, that's evidence, at least for me, that my input was completely dropped. Since you guys couldn't see my thumb movements, you just have to take my word for it. Alright, so here we're going with Starkey, and remember I said he has a nice little tool? Boom. Now I don't have to worry about that L2. Not that I was too worried about it, because he can auto-evade most of that anyway, but all I'm doing here, building up those poise charges, and it's about to be lights out for Howard the Duck. And down he goes. Howard the Duck is finished, and we have completed Act 5.3.2. So guys, if you liked the video, please consider smashing that like button. It really helps me out. If you have not subscribed already, please consider giving me a subscription. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about this video. And you guys have a blessed day.